Hi, my name is Phoebe and I've decided to make a YouTube channel to document some of my borderline obsessive travels. That's what I've been calling it recently. To give you some background, my mom is a flight attendant and when I was younger I had flight privileges, so I could go on a plane for free if there was space on that plane. And by the time I was like 15 or so, I realized that I had been to more states than pretty much anybody I knew. And then I decided, you know what, I want to go to all 50 states. That's going to be a goal of mine. And we started planning trips around the fact that I was trying to go to as many states as possible, which I thought was really fun because you get to see parts of the country that you would not have seen if you were just sticking to normal tourist destinations. So I had several trips like that, and in 2016 I helped my friend move across the country and I insisted that we drive through North Dakota and Idaho because those were my last two states. So in 2016 I got to all 50 states, which was exciting at first and then kind of got depressing, so I was like, oh no, there's no more states, what am I gonna do? And that's kind of when I started getting more in depth with all of this. So this is my little map. It's very high tech. I drew on a piece of paper, but it kind of helps me keep track of the things that I like traveling to. So there's 5 main things that I like traveling to. The first one is national parks, which I feel like is a pretty common one. I think a lot of people want to go to every national park. For my purposes, I'm only keeping track of things that are actually designated national parks, not national monuments or historic parks or lake shores. I'm sure I'm going to go to a lot of those things, but I'm not going to be explicitly keeping track of them. So right now there are 62 national parks. That very well may change in the near future, but I've been to 11 of them so far, so 51 left to go there. The second thing I like traveling to is state high points, which I think is kind of self-explanatory, the highest point in every state. This does imply that at some point I would like to summit Denali, and there are a handful of these state high points that are extremely ambitious, and I highly doubt I'm ever going to actually do it. But I'm going to keep it here as a goal anyway because, you know, it's nice to have a goal. I'll try. So, there are 51 that I'm keeping track of because I'm including DC in this. And so far, I have only been to 4 of them. I've been to Ebright Azimuth in Delaware, Reno Point in DC, Katahdin in Maine, and High Point, it's just called High Point, in New Jersey. The third thing I'm keeping track of is tri-points. So I'm sure most of you are familiar with the 4 corners where Utah, Colorado, Arizona, and New Mexico meet. A tri-point is like that, except it is where 3 states meet. So you can have land tri-points, which means that the point where the 3 states meet is on the land, or you can have water tri-points, which usually happens because a lot of state borders are rivers, and when the border between 2 states is a river, a lot of the times the tri-points will end up in the middle of the river. So mostly I only care about land tri-points. There are a few exceptions though. There are some land tri-points that exist on the shores of rivers because the river that divides 2 states, one state owns the entirety of the river instead of it being split down the middle. So when one state owns the entirety of the river that divides it from another state, the tri-points will end up on the shore of that river. And when this happens, most of the time those markers are like already very underwater, and for all intents and purposes the tri-point's pretty much in the water anyway. So land tri-points like that are on shores of rivers I do not care about. On the flip side, there are some water tri-points that have landmarks nearby. For example, the southern tri-point of DC, Maryland, Virginia, because there are 2 of them. The southern one is very close to the southern cornerstone marker of DC, so I went to the southern cornerstone marker and I counted that as the tri-point. So there are a few water tri-points that have like significant landmarks nearby, and I've decided I'm gonna go to that landmark and count it. Basically what I'm saying is I get to make my own rules here, and I'm picking and choosing which tri-points I want to go to, but for the most part it's just the land ones. So there are 36 tri-points that I'd like to go to, and I have been to 5 of them so far. The DC, Maryland, Virginia tri-points, the north and south, Delaware, Maryland, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, and Maryland, Virginia, West Virginia. Maryland, Virginia, West Virginia is also a water tri-point, but I've been through Harper's Ferry so many times that I just counted it. Number 4 is all the counties in the US. I want to go to every county in the US, which is a little bit ridiculous. I highly doubt I'm going to actually ever achieve this one either. But again, it's nice to have a goal in mind. Keeps me traveling. If you go to mobrule.com, mob-rule.com, you can make your own map of which counties in the US you've been to. I think you can do it for a few other countries also, but that's how I'm keeping track of it. And there are 3,100 something counties in the US, and I've been to 600 something of them so far. And I've been to every county in the states of Connecticut, Delaware, Maine, Maryland, New Hampshire, and New Jersey. So I'm getting there, okay? I'm making some progress. And then the fifth thing that I like traveling to is just post offices. I can't explain this one. I just like post offices. I like taking pictures of them and finding out a little bit of information about the town they're in. This is what is fun to me. And that's probably the thing that I'm gonna do in a lot of these new counties that I go to, just find a post office and take a picture of it. I have an Instagram account at post offices of wherever. Feel free to follow along if you want. You don't have to though. So yeah, that is what I'm gonna be documenting here. National parks, high points, tri-points, counties, and post offices. If you are interested in any of these things, feel free to follow along. I'd love to have you. You're not obligated to though. If you don't want to, that's okay too. See you all later. Goodbye.